The doors slammed open, and the courtroom fell silent as Officer Daniel Brooks, handcuffed, exhausted, and branded a criminal, was led to the stand. Cameras flashed. Reporters whispered. Everyone believed he was guilty. Everyone, except the one partner he'd been torn away from. Every camera pointed at former police officer Daniel Brooks, now wearing an inmate jumpsuit, his hands cuffed, his face broken. He had been sentenced to 10 years for a crime he swore he didn't commit. His reputation was ruined. His badge stripped away. Officer Daniel Brooks, once the department's most trusted K-9 handler, now a convicted criminal, but none of that made him cry. What broke him was the moment he realized he would never see his K-9 partner. Hunter, again, with trembling hands, Daniel begged the judge, "Your Honor, before you take me away, please, let me see my dog, Hunter. Just one last time. Just let me say goodbye to my dog." People gasped. Even officers shifted uneasily. Whispers exploded through the room. Why would a corrupt cop care about a dog? Why was his voice breaking like his heart had already shattered? The judge hesitated, then agreed. Moments later, the doors opened again, and Hunter was brought inside. What the dog did next left the entire courtroom in tears and uncovered a truth that would flip the entire case upside down. Before we start, make sure to hit like, share, and subscribe. And really, I'm curious, where are you watching from? Drop your country name in the comments. I love seeing how far our stories travel. Officer Daniel Brooks had worn his badge with pride for nearly 15 years. To his department, he wasn't just another cop. He was the one you called when everything went wrong. But to one loyal German shepherd named Hunter, Daniel was more than a partner. He was family. Together, they had taken down armed suspects, rescued missing children, and survived situations that would have shattered anyone else. Hunter had once thrown himself between Daniel and a bullet, an act that bonded them for life, which made what happened next feel impossible. One rainy evening, flashing lights surrounded Daniel's home. Before he could understand what was happening, internal affairs stormed through his door. "Daniel Brooks, you're under arrest for evidence tampering in the Alvarez drug case." Daniel froze. "What? That's impossible. I would never." But his words were drowned out by the click of handcuffs. Hunter barked frantically, lunging toward Daniel, but officers pulled him back. "Take the dog to K-9 custody," someone ordered. Daniel's heart cracked as Hunter was dragged away, whining, paws scraping the pavement. His fellow officers refused to meet his eyes. The chief didn't say a word. In a matter of minutes, Daniel went from decorated hero to disgraced criminal, and losing his badge hurt. But losing Hunter shattered him completely. The courtroom buzzed with tension as Daniel Brooks was escorted inside. Wrists cuffed, eyes hollow from sleepless nights. Reporters whispered. Former colleagues stared at him like he was a stranger. The same people who once celebrated his bravery now avoided even looking his way. Daniel took his seat beside his public defender. He didn't speak. He didn't need to. The prosecution did all the talking. They painted Daniel as a corrupt veteran officer, a man who planted evidence to secure arrests. They presented documents, photos, statements, every piece carefully arranged to make him look guilty. Daniel sat still, jaw tight, heart pounding. He couldn't prove what he didn't know. He only kept repeating one truth in his mind: "I didn't do this." Meanwhile, miles away in the K-9 facility, Hunter refused food and snapped at his new handlers. He paced endlessly, whining at the door, waiting for the partner who never came. Word reached the courtroom. Hunter had become depressed, aggressive, and nearly unworkable without Daniel. Finally, the judge asked, "Mr. Brooks, before sentencing, do you have anything to say?" Daniel swallowed hard. "Yes, Your Honor. Just one request." The courtroom leaned in. "I want to see my dog," Daniel said quietly. "Just one last time." Gasps echoed across the room. Even the judge blinked, startled. After a heavy pause, she nodded. "Bring in the K-9. No one in that courtroom knew. What was about to happen would change everything. The double doors at the back of the courtroom creaked open, and every head turned. Two officers entered, struggling to hold back a tense, trembling German shepherd. Hunter. The moment his eyes found Daniel, the dog froze, ears up, tail stiff, breath shaking. "Easy, boy," one handler murmured. But Hunter wasn't listening. With a sudden jerk, he ripped the leash from the officer's grip and bolted across the courtroom. Gasps erupted. Reporters jumped to their feet. The judge instinctively leaned back. Daniel stood, chains rattling, just as Hunter launched into his arms, knocking him to his knees. That Daniel's voice broke instantly. "Hunter, buddy, I'm here." The dog whined loudly, pressing his head against Daniel's chest, pawing at his jumpsuit, licking the dried tears on his face. It was a reunion so raw, so desperate, it silenced the entire room. People who once doubted Daniel now watched him sob uncontrollably into Hunter's fur. Even the toughest officers wiped their eyes. But then, Hunter did something strange. That he stepped back, sniffed Daniel's uniform, and began scratching insistently at the inside of his left chest pocket. Daniel frowned. "What's wrong, boy?" "I don't have anything." Hunter kept clawing, whining louder now, refusing to stop. The deputy moved forward. "Let me check that." He reached into the pocket, paused, and slowly pulled out a tiny object, a small micro-SD card, hidden deep in the fabric. The courtroom erupted in confusion. Daniel stared at it, stunned. "I've never seen that before." Hunter barked sharply, as if saying, "Look closer." No one knew it yet, but that tiny card would unravel the entire case. A stunned silence swept across the courtroom as the deputy held up the tiny micro-SD card. "Your Honor, this was found sewn inside the defendant's uniform," he announced. "Sewn. Not placed. Not hidden by Daniel. Someone had put it there without him ever knowing." The judge frowned. "Play its contents." Now, a technician hurried to connect the card to the courtroom monitor. Seconds later, grainy body cam footage flickered onto the screen. Daniel's heartbeat thudded loudly in his ears. Everyone leaned forward. The video showed Daniel and his partner, Officer Mills, searching a suspect's car during the Alvarez drug case, the very case Daniel was accused of tampering with. But then the footage shifted. When Daniel walked back to the patrol car to radio dispatch, Mills was alone, and he did the unthinkable. That he reached into his own vest, pulled out a small bag of narcotics, and planted it under the suspect's seat. Plain as day. No hesitation. Gasps echoed through the courtroom. The prosecutor's jaw dropped. Reporters scrambled for their phones. On the screen, Mills looked straight into the camera, clearly unaware it was still recording, and muttered, "Brooks will take the fall. Nobody questions the hero." Daniel's stomach twisted. Hunter growled, inching closer as if ready to attack the screen itself. The judge slammed her gavel. "Officer Mills, stand up." But Mills didn't move. His face had drained of color. Daniel had come here expecting a goodbye. Instead, his dog had just uncovered the truth and blown the entire case wide open. Officer Mills finally stumbled to his feet, face pale, sweat dripping down his forehead. The judge's voice thundered through the courtroom. "Officer Mills, you are under arrest for evidence tampering, perjury, and obstruction of justice." Two deputies moved toward him, but Mills snapped. "This is ridiculous. That footage is fake," he shouted, eyes wild. But the courtroom wasn't buying it. Hunter began barking furiously, every instinct in him recognizing the danger. AS deputies grabbed Mills. Files began spilling from his pockets, money transfers, text messages, even a burner phone tied to the Alvarez cartel. It was the final nail in the coffin. The prosecutor turned to Daniel, stunned. "All this time, you were telling the truth." Daniel didn't respond. He was kneeling beside Hunter, one hand gripping the dog's fur as relief washed over him like a tidal wave. The judge removed her glasses, eyes softening. "Mr. Brooks, the court owes you an apology. Your conviction is hereby overturned." But Daniel wasn't focused on any of them. He pulled Hunter closer, forehead resting against the dog's. "You saved me," he whispered. "You always knew." Hunter whined softly, leaning into him with a trembling kind of love only a K9 partner could give. Because justice, finally, was on his side. 2 weeks later, the precinct's courtyard was packed. Officers stood shoulder to shoulder. Reporters filled every corner. And a small stage had been set beneath the morning sunat. The center stood Daniel Brooks, no longer in a jumpsuit, but in his full police uniform. Badge restored, name cleared, honor returned. Beside him sat Hunter, chest puffed proudly, a new polished K9 medal glinting on his collar. The chief stepped up to the microphone. "Today, we honor Officer Daniel Brooks and his K9 partner, Hunter, whose loyalty and courage uncovered the truth." Applause thundered, but Daniel raised a hand gently. "I wasn't the hero," he said. "He was." He placed a hand on Hunter's head. "When the world turned its back on me." He didn't. He never does. Hunter leaned into him, tail sweeping the ground. The chief signed the final document and handed it to Daniel. "Hunter is officially retired. He belongs to you, permanently." He knelt, hugging Hunter tightly. "You're coming home with me, partner. Forever." The crowd erupted once more as Daniel walked out of the precinct with Hunter trotting proudly beside him. One truth echoed through every heart watching. A good cop may lose his badge, but a loyal dog never loses his faith.